What is up, boys? It's Flash, back with some more charts and another video. Today's Saturday, July 27. It's about 12:38 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing some weekend work. This channel is kind of evolving, and you guys know I'm plenty into the uranium space, the commodity space. I'm looking for assets that are more or less going to be outperforming gold within the next 5 or 10 years. My goal personally is to increase my own purchasing power. That's kind of like my why. Like I want to support my family. I want to increase my purchasing power so that I can do the things that we love, right? Financially free. You know, we a lot of people talk about that on YouTube, but I've created a new list that I'm going to start covering, and I'm calling this list leverage. And that's just kind of a category that I'm putting a lot of these tickers in. And yes, it's outside of the uranium space, it's outside of the commodity complex, but I've taken a look around and I've looked at, okay, what are the best stocks in the last 3 years, the last 5 years, the last 10 years? And I'm like, all of these stocks are outperforming gold. And yes, there's a huge tech boom and Nvidia keeps going up and up and up, and we're expecting it to I'm expecting there to be some sort of rotation out of these big momentum stocks and into, the basket of uranium equities that I track. But a thought occurred to me and I'm like, why am I fighting these stocks mentally in my own head? Why am I fighting these that are continue to go up? They continue to outperform everything. Like, why am I fighting that? And so, for example, and some of these are leveraged ETFs. For example, UPRO is a 3x S&P 500 ETF. I'm not giving any financial advice in this video, but there are some tickers, some individual stocks that I think are going to do really well, but I'm also kind of interested by these 3x leveraged ETFs. You got to do your own research on them. I know the experts, kind of say shy away from them. You don't want to put a lot of capital into them. You don't want to hold them for a long term because of decay and volatility. But it's designed on a daily basis to go 3x whatever the S&P does. So 3x the percentage up or 3x the percentage down. But when I dive into this deeper and, just for example, UPRO, I'm going to go through all these tickers today. It's going to be a long video. But UPRO, if we look at the momentum analysis that I typically do, and this is UPRO on the 2 weekly time frame, you can see it's in this big channel up and to the right. 3x leverage to the S&P. But when we pull up momentum distance percentage from the simple moving average, so that would be the 36 period 2 weekly moving average, we can kind of identify, okay, when is this overheated? When is it really cool and not overheated at all? And when's a potential good buy candidate, right? So we have overheated zone, underheated zone. And the way this momentum works is it's giving us really, really pretty clear signals on when it's overheated, when it touches the red, when it breaks down momentum-wise, when it touches the green zone where it could be a good buy opportunity, for example. But I'm like, man, I wish I discovered this earlier, because I think I could probably try to play these moves to the upside, right? And then once they reach the overheated zone, for example, like in the top of this wedge in this channel, maybe I take some off the table. Maybe I sell that position and wait for it to reset and come back to the bottom of the channel, but also into the underheated zone, if you will. And when we look at momentum, we can see like there's a clear breakout, back test, resumption up. And that would have been a signal right here at $39 to get in, and we'd still be in it at $76 today. So, but it could be slowing down. We're touching the overheated zone, but this thing can pretty much go sideways and to the right and still remain overheated until it gets like a sideways breakdown. And so it can be difficult to see in some charts. There's different time frames for a lot of these, but man, I just find this stuff super, super interesting. But again, it's a 3x leverage ETF. I think it's more of a short-term game type situation, not a long-term hold, but it just catches my eye, obviously because of the returns that it could potentially generate. And I just wanted to kind of, again, journal this today and see what you guys thought. Drop a note in the comments if you have experienced this, if you've ever used these ETFs before, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm also going to go through, okay, some of the best performing stocks right now, the past 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to do some charting on these and just show you kind of what I'm seeing. And so the first one up is Viking Therapeutics, and this is on the 2-week time frame. I have a note here. And like, if we just look at the chart for a second, like, we're in a parallel channel and we broke out of this channel and we're retesting that green channel. I'm looking for stocks, for assets to own that are going to outperform gold and that are like breaking out big time. Sure, I'd love them to be in uranium because it's one of my favorite sectors, but if it's not, why am I fighting that internal battle, right? And so, I'm going to drop into the daily here and just look at look at this setup. Like, this is a bonkers setup. Like, and this stock is already run. You could have gotten in here at like $4. It's at $66 today. But I'm going to go through some of these other stocks, and like, some of them break out of these big bases, these big channels, they retest them, and then they continue going up in a parabolic fashion. So Viking Therapeutics, for whatever reason, I'm going to do more research into like the fundamentals, but I believe they have like weight loss drugs. They manufacture those, which I think that's a growing market, right? So I think, like, yes, there could be a rotation from the S&P 500 into gold. That's what I've been preaching for a long time, but I'm still tracking, like, I still want to be in assets that are going to outperform gold regardless, right? And so even if we pull up the chart, this is the ratio of Viking Therapeutics measured in gold. And what do we have? We have a parallel channel, breakout, backtest, and this looks super bullish to continue outperforming gold. Like, it looks incredible. It's like, why have I not even looked at this stock in the past? So Viking Therapeutics, sexy ass stock. I gotta say it. And then, obviously we have Nvidia. And so if we zoom way out on Nvidia, we have this parallel channel. It broke out of this channel and back tested it. Like, that is exactly what Viking Therapeutics is more or less doing. This is a much longer term time frame, but if we zoom in on the 2 weeks, I'll go in a little bit more, the weekly and then maybe even the 2-day. But like Nvidia, it's in this green upwards channel. And then if we go drop into the 4-hour, like, we even have this. I can actually brighten this up for the guys. I'm sorry about that. But like, man, Nvidia can keep going up. I mean, yes, it's way beyond anybody's like expectations, but I mean, why can't Nvidia keep going up? There's no reason why it can't, unless this breaks down, and we're gonna know if it breaks down out of this channel, right? And so if I go into that 2 weekly time frame, can pull up the momentum, and this is the thing. Like, we know when it's overheated. Yes, it's overheated, but it still can kind of go sideways, and it can still go up until it breaks down. And maybe this line should be down here. But I mean, this thing just is relentless. So yes, it's overheated, but it's still saying to me that it has room to go up. There's no one saying that this has to go down. So yeah, we've experienced a pullback recently. But another one that has been brought to my attention is NVDU. And this is Direxion's daily Nvidia Bull 2X shares. So similar to UPRO, which is 3x leverage the S&P, and NVDU is 2x leverage to Nvidia. And so again, this is in an upwards channel, we'll know that it's going to break down if it breaks out of the green channel. It's underheated on the 4-hour time frame, and there's a clear momentum breakout line to say, okay, if this breaks out of momentum, say in mid-August, and we ride that up to the overheated area, like, you could be looking at 150% gain in 30 days using this leveraged ETF. Again, I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying, like, there's money to be made here, I think. And so it just really, really catches my attention. I wanted to bring it to all your guys' attention as well. And so SMCI, super microcomputer. You guys know this stock as well, but again, huge parallel channel, breaks out of that channel, retests it, and goes parabolic, right? And I think this still, if we go out to the monthly time frame and we look up momentum, like, yeah, it is overheated, but there's a clear trend line here that we can use to our advantage to identify when this is going to break down. Because you see on these momentums, this can kind of go up and down and fluctuate sideways, and until we break this horizontal, we'll know that this thing is going to now start correcting, or it's going to go sideways. We're losing that momentum. So super microcomputer, another one where if we go back to the daily and we just take our measuring stick, if this breaks out at $856 and it hits 2,600 in 97 days, like, I don't think we should be that surprised that it did that, because it's done that for so long. All right, another one, WGS, Gene DX Holdings. We're going to go on the weekly for this one. But I mean, it's just, if we can just simplify these charts as much as possible, like big downtrend, breaks out of that downtrend, and we're just, it broke out at like $11, it's at 33 today, and then we bring up momentum. Like, this still can continue higher, in my opinion. These are the best performing stocks in the last 5 years, for example. Like, unless there's this big rotation into gold, we're going to know when that happens. Like, we have these trend lines to prove it and the momentum to kind of validate that. But I'll just pull up, on the weekly. This is WGS measured in gold. Like, this is outperforming gold. Why shy away from it? All right, another one, Eli Lilly Company. You guys have probably heard about this one. This thing has gone absolutely bonkers. I mean, it's insane, the percentage gains on this from 2012. It's up 1,800%. But like, it falls into these channels and it enters a parabolic move. And yeah, we're definitely late to the game at Eli Lilly, but who's to say this can't continue, right? We're even breaking out of this channel. Let me brighten this one up too. So yeah, we're overheated, but we can still kind of chop sideways while we're overheated, and this can still continue to rise because it's going to follow that moving average up. But the distance is going to shrink and shrink until it breaks down, and that's when you have a problem with Eli Lilly, similar to back here. Right? So like, we knew this was done right here. And we could have avoided this entire correction if we were in Eli Lilly then. So I think this can continue to go up. Another one is SoundHound. I think I have SoundHound on the 3-day. Okay, let's zoom in on the 3-day. Okay, so another parallel channel. And this one is just setting up, I think, to break out of this parallel channel. Like, who's to say it can't? And then there's another channel right here. Again, I got to brighten these up for you guys. But I like this one a lot because momentum is like, this is on the 3-day. There's a clear breakout line for momentum. It can probably be lined up with this. So this is another one I'm just throwing on the watch list because, like, then you have it against gold. It's going up and to the right generally against gold, but it's just interesting to see these high momentum plays. I don't know if, yeah, okay. I might break this up into 2 videos. I'm not sure yet. But this is TQQQ, ProShares UltraPro 3x leverage to the triple Qs. And this I need to be on the 2 weekly time frame. And again, it finds these channels, these leveraged ETFs, they find these channels and it just goes up and to the right. Yes, there are these big corrections where, if you're leveraged, you're going to get killed. That's why I'm not recommending these. But, you can kind of identify where the momentum, at least when it gets overheated and at least when it gets underheated, right? To buy and sell potentially. But I think it's just super interesting to look at. Another one is TECL, so 3X Technology. This one looks like it's kind of breaking down. Probably would stay away right now until it gets into the green. And I'm gonna keep going through these kind of rapid fire. This is SOXL 3X Semiconductors. Channels everywhere, and you can see when it breaks down momentum and when it's actually a great buy candidate. Like if you bought SOXL when it was breaking out down here with momentum and just ride it up, you'd be up 216%. Now with volatility and decay, it probably wouldn't be 216%, but it would still be a leveraged return to the triple Qs, I believe. Another interesting chart I have is Nvidia divided by GLD. And this is going to be on the monthly. And this is just simple, like, okay, Nvidia has been skyrocketing, but we're going to know by capital flows when it should be time to maybe shift into GLD or gold, for example. And we're just in this channel, big channel. We haven't broken down yet. We'll know when we break down, and then it's like, okay, that's when we know we need to get out of Nvidia, for example. But right now, I mean, why fight these huge momentum stocks? Why fight them, is my opinion. Over to AMR. AMR, we're going to go on the weekly. Alpha Metallurgical Resources. And this has just been on a tear, like an absolute tear. And when we can maybe put these into channels, put price into channels, like it's kind of easy to see what's happening. And so here, AMR, clear breakout line on momentum. That's what we want to get above. And I think this is a pull into a flag, and then the measured move is like to the top of this channel. And I'm just like, man, we should just play these instead of like, yeah, uranium is great, but it's taken a long time. But I always say, keep the bigger picture in mind. But I'm just, this is kind of, again, a journal entry. This is fun to look at, fun to analyze. Okay, so I'm going to keep going through these. Fair Isaac Corporation, FICO. We're going to go on the 2 monthly time frame for this one, because this just has clear momentum breakouts and breakdowns. But this is FICO on the 2 monthly time frame. Channel, broke out of this channel. We're breaking out of even another channel. Like, this thing is just so strong. It's incredible how strong this thing is. Why fight it? And we still are not close to breaking down a momentum. And then we can even look at FICO measured in gold. Again, the 2 monthly time frame. This is going to give us our signal when it's time to be in gold, I think. Like, there will be a horizontal breakdown similar to this. Probably up here. All right, another one is ANET, Arista Networks. Again, another beautiful channel. This thing is probably too close to the overheated zone for me to appreciate it. But man, once this consolidates and goes down and sideways to the right, that is going to open up a buy opportunity for us for ANET. Over to VRT. Similar story, Vertiv Holdings. We're overheated, we're at the top of the channel, we're breaking down in momentum. I would stay away until this resets. MicroStrategy, MSTR. Pretty clear channel. We broke out of this channel, but we're at the top, and I think this could also break out of this channel. I know it's a crypto stock. I mean, it's a software stock that invests in Bitcoin. But a pretty clear breakout line, and this could even continue higher. So I would watch MicroStrategy. Another one is AppLovin Corporation. And I mean, this is just a clear trend channel. Like, if this falls out of the trend, okay, don't be in the stock. But if it's in this channel, in this trend, we're approaching a momentum breakout, like this thing can continue running up the channel. 200% gain in 150 days. It's not bad. Let's keep going. GP at the gap. I'm going to skip the gap. I'm still kind of analyzing that one. GCT, GigaCloud Technology. We're on the 2-day. Clear upwards price channel. We're underheated. We're in a buy zone. We've got to wait for this momentum to break out. But man, this thing can break out and keep running. CLS, Celestica. another massive, massive stock. It's like returned incredible returns over the years. But we're a bit overheated. We're at the top of our channel, and we might be breaking down out of this channel. So I would stay away from that for now. Palantir, you guys have heard of Palantir. You want to be on the 3-week for this one. And man, let's just keep it as simple as possible. We can still continue going up as long as this trend line holds. This is on the 3-week time frame. AMD. Where do we want to be with AMD? On the monthly time frame. So we're at the top of our channel here. This channel maybe could be extended up like this, but this has more touch points. I think we're a little bit hot and extended. We're breaking down momentum. AMD is probably gonna go sideways / correct. Mara on the 3-weekly time frame. This thing has room to run. It's not overheated yet, and we have some support on the 3-weekly time frame. I would prefer to see Mara kind of get out of this base first and stay in this channel, but still, it's $20 today. It's very interesting. Novo Nordisk, a little bit oversold. I'm going to hang on to that one. CCJ has made it onto the list here, folks. I'm telling you. But what we're seeing on CCJ is interesting. Like, now that I have a different view of how I'm looking at some of these tickers, we're in an upwards channel within a bigger channel, but we're kind of slowing down in momentum on the monthly time frame. So this may go sideways for a little bit until we can kind of clear up momentum. Silex, another one that I love in the uranium space, but again, doesn't look great on momentum right now, as much as I hate to say it. WFRD. I think we want to be this thing just keeps going up and to the right. Why fight it? Losing some momentum, but we're going to know once it loses this channel. JMIA on the 2-weekly, Jumia Technologies. This one is super interesting as well. Has a bowl shape to it. Broke out of this channel. And I'll brighten these up. And we'll even drop in onto the weekly or even the 2-day. But like, this thing is breaking out of a channel and then it's kind of retesting it right now. This thing has room to continue going up, in my opinion. And then NRIX. We're on the weekly. And this thing is just going up and to the right now. It's outperforming gold. Clear trend line right here. Momentum, could be overheated, but there's a clear trend line that will tell us it's breaking down before it actually breaks down. And we have a channel to kind of trust here. I like NRX as well. But then there's some other ones like in gold and silver, UGL. Like, this is showing a breakout. I don't know what happened with this trend line. Ultra gold breakout. You can look at NUGT, which is, it's leveraged to the gold miners. Probably wouldn't recommend it. But it's showing a breakout of some sort, right? Then I got Big, which is another miner that I'm looking at. Hercules metals rather. On the daily time frame, this thing is in an upward sloping channel. And there's a clear momentum breakout line to get above. Like, this thing is ready to launch. And if it stays in this channel, you could be looking at some massive gains over the next year. 1,200% gains. I don't know. You know, that's just kind of, but the charts don't lie. You know, yeah, sure, I can make them look bullish. You know, I could probably move this channel around. You know, I'm kind of seeing one like right here. That's interesting. Oh, we broke. Okay. Damn. We're breaking out of a base here for big, retesting it into another channel. That is wild. That's bonkers to me. So guys, I guess I'm just here to say, like, there are other assets other than uranium that I've taken a look at. I'll still cover uranium, but I'm definitely going to start covering some of these because these are insane. Drop me a like if you found this helpful. Let me know what you think about the leverage ETFs or any of these stocks. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great Saturday.